Many of you know I'm a big fan of Battle Beast. I have always talked about how much I love Nora Luhimo's voice and how much I love this band. I have definitely followed them from the very beginning. So I remember back in 2011 on the radio show, I remember getting a promo of the album, the debut album called Steel, which came out in 2011. And I was really blown away by that. I thought the music and the songwriting, I thought they took melodic power metal and took it to a completely different level. I really do. And I still think that to this day. Then you had the self-titled album back in 2013. And then you had an album called Unholy Savior, which was the first album Nora Luhimo sang on, because the first two had a different singer. All three of these records, in my opinion, are essentially power metal classics. They really are. And when one of the main songwriters, Anton Kabanin, left the band to form Beast in Black, myself and many other fans really thought that Battle Beast took a little bit of a step back. I mean, the albums certainly didn't suck when he left, but it was more or less, for me, what it felt like is that the band was trying to find itself again after missing, a couple of its main songwriters. So you have the album No More Hollywood Endings. You have the other album, Bringer of Pain. That was the first album without Anton Kabanin in the band. And I thought No More Hollywood Endings and Bringer of Pain, I thought those were very good albums. They definitely had some great songs on them, but I thought the band took a little bit of a step back because I liked the first three albums so much more than those two. Then the album Circus of Doom came out. And in my opinion, and I said this on the program a while back when that album came out, for me, that was my favorite Battle Beast album to date. It had a little bit of a darker tinge to it, but I really think the band found themselves again putting out a record like that, because for me, that album is flawless from start to finish. And obviously all of these records, even the two that No More Hollywood Endings and Bringer of Pain, they all made my top albums of the year list. But Circus of Doom, for me, is just an incredible record. So now you have an album called Steelbound. This one, the first single that actually came off of this is a song called Last Goodbye. I heard that song and I immediately knew that this album was probably going to be very good. And actually, it's better than good. It's absolutely excellent. And I think it's on par with Circus of Doom. So Battle Beast, to me, has put out two flawless albums, in my opinion. This one's a little bit different. You have a few more, a lot like the Bloodbound album that just came out. This album is filled with anthems. That's what it reminds me of. And I remember hearing the title track. That was one of the singles off of it. Twilight Cabaret, one of the singles that was off of it. Angel of Midnight was another single they put out. Overall, I went and listened to this album multiple times, and there really aren't any songs on it that I could go and point at and say, hey, you know what? This song is the worst one on the album. Because when I listen to this, and every time I do listen to this record, my favorite song changes almost every time. Like for a long time, the song Twilight Cabaret, which if I had to pick a song, if I was forced to, that would be my favorite. But I think the material they wrote for this is some of the strongest material they've ever done. Again, Circus of Doom was a little bit of a different album. It had a little bit of a darker edge to it. This one has, it's a little bit more melodic. It has, I think the choruses are a lot catchier on this record. But to be honest, again, they put out two albums in a row now that I think are the two best albums this band has ever done. So I definitely love this record. If I had to pick highlights to check out, the song Here We Are, very, 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 very good track. Here We Are, I like the song Twilight Cabaret. Last Goodbye is great. Riders of the Storm, and the last song, Watch the Sky Fall. So these are, in my opinion, my favorite. If I had to pick some favorite songs on this record, those would be it. But they have some great anthems on here. And Battle Beast, it's such a different band. You know, when that first album came out, for example, I was really not in love with power metal anymore. And they are one of the few bands that have come out that people call power metal from Europe, for that matter, that I really do dig quite a bit. So where would I rank it? Well, I would probably have it ranked between 1 and 2, because it's really, really hard for me to pick between this and Circus of Doom. It kind of changes because one of the things that I do is I go back and I listen to a lot of previous material before I, talk about a record, because I want to compare it and rank it in their discography. And I had a hard time picking this over Circus of Doom and vice versa. It's still going back and forth in my head which one I like better. But I would say this band has definitely put out an album that's among their best, at least a top 2, maybe top 3. If you liked the last record, you're going to love this. If you really like the band in general, and it's a band that you've been listening to even from the beginning, I think it's an excellent record. And I really think that they have really nailed it again, 2 releases in a row now. So, and that's pretty much it for today. So I want to thank you all for watching the Metal Command podcast. I have a lot of great stuff coming up. I'm already planning stuff for 2026. And with that said, thanks for watching. Stay metal. Hey, it's Tony here from the Metal Command Show. I want to thank you for watching this portion of the program. Since 1998, I have hosted the show, which started off as a radio program and is now into the podcast format. So I want to thank you for watching and or listening. And if you want to support the program, hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell to be notified anytime I do post any content. A lot of you have been supporting the show and really, really helping this show grow, and I cannot do it without all of you. So with that said, thanks for watching. Stay metal.